On today's episode of The Unwritten Rule, we got the backup quarterback news. So we'll break that down. Drew Pyne is going to be a Missouri Tiger transferring from Arizona State. So that broke on Sunday just before we started recording. So we dove into that, talked about some more spring football, spring practice updates, Drayden Norwood, Brett Norfleet, just some status reports, some progress updates. It's that time of the year right now in spring practice. But yeah, the main thing, Drew Pyne, we did talk about that. Dove into just how he's kind of a perfect backup fit for Mizzou football. And then we recap men's basketball's latest escapade in SEC play. They lost their last game, so they are officially winless in conference play. Got the 14 seed. We talked about that and just the bad, summarizing the season, kind of the same old that you've heard all there before. But plenty of football, men's basketball stuff to dive into. And then we did quick hits. We had good Ken sports shorts. We did a Sporkle quiz this week. So if you don't know what Sporkle is, you'll learn when you get to that part. If you do know what Sporkle is, I'm sure you're a fan. So that's a good Ken Sports Shorts. We had our Dirty Birds and then Fraud Rankings. So great show. Before we get started, the Unwritten Rules presented by Bet Online, which continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use our promo code BELIEVE for 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. Okay, let's do our best beats of the week presented by BetOnline. Thank you to BetOnline for these spreads. I'm starting. We're in full swing in conference tournament time. I've been watching so much mid-major basketball over the last week, and I love it. It's very fun. We have 2 tickets punched as of our recording time. Longwood and Morehead State, very sophomoric sounding schools. If you use your brain, headed to the tournament. And I think we're going to have the MVC by the time you're listening to this on Monday morning.
And the A-Sun. The A-Sun is going on right now. Austin Peay is up 11-3.
There you go. So you might have Austin Peay, and then Drake or Indiana State will have their ticket punch. That's been a big one. But anyway, mid-major basketball, we've got mid-major beats. I'm starting, and I'm going over to the SoCon, the semifinals of the SoCon. And I've been on this team before, and I'm doing it again. I'm taking the Samford Bulldogs -3 over Furman, the Paladins. Of course, they've been to the tournament, made some madness in March happen, but I love Samford. They score. I would describe them, like, if you're a college basketball fan, as like Alabama light. They just score a lot of points. They don't play a lot of defense. They have like 10 players who play over 10 minutes. They're super deep. It's they're a fun team. And folks, this is a 6.3 line in favor of the Bulldogs on Torvik. This is free money to get that at -3. Absolutely cash that in. I love the Bulldogs this year. If they lose and don't go to the tournament, I will be very sad.
Well, I wish there was a third semifinal game in the Horizon League so you could join Peyton and I with some fun here. The Barbasol Horizon League Championship, which is a pretty cool name. But I have the first leg, Cleveland State versus Oakland. If Dennis Gates is not going to win any games in conference play, maybe his old Cleveland State Vikings can win one in their tournament. I have him at 4.5 against Oakland. It's going to be Chokeland on Monday. Get this one while it's pretty easy. So I think we could swing it. I think we can get BetOnline to swing this to a -1 in favor of Cleveland State. We all jump in on it.
Did you not use your handy dandy Torvik on this?
I was going to let Peyton do this.
Oh,
Fun fact about Oakland, Dennis Gates mentioned their head coach, Greg Camp. He's coached the Golden Grizzlies since 1984. He mentioned them as a Hall of Fame coach. As Kenny mentioned, I am sticking in the Barbasol Horizon League tournament. I am betting on the other semifinal. UW Milwaukee, the Panthers against the Northern Kentucky Norse. I am going to take the Northern Kentucky Norse by 1.5 here. It's the 5 and 6 matchup. Torvik, my handy dandy Torvik here, they have this as -2.7 in favor of the Norse. That's a full point. Get this one while you can, folks, before the sharps are on it. They're gonna be all over this one by the time the morning sun, the rooster crows tomorrow. So you're gonna want to get this one now, folks. 1.5 is a lock. I don't post predictions. I post spoilers. Okay, I'm never wrong. I'm just early. Get this one now.
I do really hope you're wrong in this game, Peyton. I like UW Milwaukee there. I want them to go back to the tournament. I think it would be the first time since 2015 the Panthers have made it back to the dance. They got some help. Youngstown State lost. They were my pick to win it. They were the 2 seed, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see in the Horizon. Barbasol Horizon, we got the, what is it? Hercules Tire Big South. That's what the sponsor is. There's some good sponsors this year. I think the bigger conferences should get more in on this, like a bowl game. Like, I would love to see, I don't know, like the John Deere SEC tournament. Presented
John
by
Deere SEC.
I don't know why that was the first one I thought. The Case IH SEC tournament. No free ads.
Case IH Reds or SEC tournament.
Shout out. Yeah, it's like the Case IH Red Zone. Mizzou might actually have a chance to get its first win, which we're going to talk about later on. But we're going to start with football. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive into the rest of the show. The Unwritten Rule starts right now.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Peyton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Monday, March 11th. And as you can see, if you're watching on the YouTube, which you should go subscribe to the YouTube, we're continuing to use our multi-screen share tool. Kenny is, going to be on a live experiment now for the next couple shows, figuring out how to best strategically have a screen share for our headlines. But as you also can see from our friends over at Rock M Nation, Mizzou football has its backup quarterback. This was announced earlier today on Sunday when we're recording this. Drew Pyne from Arizona State is transferring to Mizzou. He comes over, spent a couple seasons with Notre Dame. Last year with Arizona State, he didn't do too much. 26 completions, 273 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 picks. The year before that at Notre Dame, though, he threw for over 2,000 yards and 22 touchdowns. So a talented quarterback. I believe he's only like a redshirt sophomore, or maybe a junior now. But so he's got some eligibility left.
He has 3 years left.
Yeah, 3 years of eligibility left. So I think Kenny and Peyton, the perfect guy to get in this year to have as the backup for Brady Cook. And then going into next year with Sam Horn coming back, the two can compete for that job. I feel like this feels like a pretty good get for Mizzou, locking down that quarterback here early on in spring camp.
I think this is the exact archetype that we were like mentioning for Mizzou in a backup quarterback. Like when Sam Horn went down, I think we all unanimously agreed Mizzou's going to want to get a guy with more than 1 year of eligibility because he could go in and compete for that starting job next year. And I know people are going to be a little sketched out by Drew Pyne just because his season at Arizona State featured 1 start. He didn't play bad. It was against USC. He played pretty decent in that. He threw a pair of touchdowns, had like 200-something yards. But it was very injury-riddled. I believe Kenny Dillingham, their coach, said he was dealing with like 3 injuries. He went back to Notre Dame, actually, to just get his degree. Like, he's not even playing football for Notre Dame right now. But because he's doing that, I mean, he's going to enroll this summer, as you see from Pete Thamel there. He's going to have 3 years of eligibility left. Considering what we've been hearing at camp, it's kind of a good thing that Mizzou is getting a backup like this. I wasn't going to be comfortable with continued reports about how, Brett Brown and Tommy Luck are looking great. I don't want either of them as Mizzou's primary QB2. So this is a good get. Pete Thamel also did point out, Thamel, as a starter for Notre Dame, he went 8-2 as their starter whenever he played with them. He had a 4-1 mark against top 25 teams. I mean, this is the type of guy that's going to come in if, God forbid, Brady Cook gets hurt and just manage a game. Let the rest of the team do a lot of the work for him. He's not going to lose you a game. So it's a pretty good get. 3 years of eligibility is nuts, though. I mean, this guy's been in college for like 4 years, it feels like.
Yeah, I think he's technically a year older than Brady Cook, which is just crazy to say that he could play 7 full seasons, not full seasons, 7 years of college football. At the end of the day, Eli Drinkwitz finally got his Arizona State quarterback, so congrats to him. Not the one he wanted originally, the one he did want, ended up winning the Heisman, but you don't really need to expect much from Drew Pyne. You look at what Brady Cook has done the last 2 years in his first season as a starter. He did play through a shoulder injury. The guy's durable. He's tough. Sometimes, you want to like really do a deep dive into a backup quarterback. Hopefully you don't really see Drew Pyne. And that's the same thing we thought about with Jake Garcia last year. Maybe there's going to be a battle with him and Sam Horn and Brady Cook. He was just there as your backup, and that's what you kind of want from Drew Pyne. And for Sam Horn, as bad as it is that he did have Tommy John surgery, you got to be, happy that it happened so early in spring ball. So next year he comes in and hopefully gets to play in that spring game next year. Maybe if he's not completely ready to see game action, he's battling in the summer with Drew Pyne, and that's where you want to look ahead. And I think this is a good pickup for right now. It's an experienced backup quarterback, and it's having an experienced guy on scholarship behind you. You have 3 guys that aren't on scholarship, and then Aiden Glover, who's a true freshman. This is exactly who you needed.
That's a good point too. Like, I guess we shouldn't rule him out either. Like, if he does some impressive stuff on the practice squad, Aiden Glover, I mean, he's if he's playing well, you could throw him in that competition with Pyne and with Horn next year. So yeah, I think it's good to get it in early. He's 23, by the way. He's probably older than, maybe not Kenny, but at least older than Peyton and I, which is wild that he has 3 years of eligibility left. Like, he could be in college at 26 years old.
He's the same age as Kenny.
Yeah, well, I know. I meant like if you do it with like months.
I see. Oh, you're talking month and everything.
I am older than Drew Pyne.
Okay, wow. Kenny's older than Drew Pyne. What month did it say?
December.
Okay, so I am not older. I'm younger than Drew Pyne.
Okay, he's 1 year older than Brady Cook. Yep.
Okay.
Brady Cook also. Brady Cook did tweet "Let's go Drew Pyne" and Drew Pyne. Oh, that was. I wonder what Sporkle Kenny's running. And Drew Pyne retweeted it. So pretty on board move. I think everybody knows the situation going into the year.
Yeah. So there you go. Drew Pyne, a sound backup should something happen. Oh, of course, we hope it doesn't. To Brady Cook. And then, as Kenny has up there too, Brett Brown, the one of the backup QBs, is apparently having a good spring camp. So it's always good to have good quarterback depth. You can never go too wrong. I know Brett Brown isn't exactly a home run name, but
it's just funny because I had totally forgot until Jack Sobel, a friend of ours, and Kenny pointed out Brett Brown was like he tried to transfer. He was in the portal, and I know Kenny's going to probably take a victory lap because he said something that wound up being spot on about it. But him and Dylan Leibel, the 2 walk-ons, they tried to. Not aside from Tommy Locke, I mean, they tried to transfer. Leibel found a home at Tennessee Tech, but guess it didn't wind up working out for Brett Brown.
Yeah, the grass wasn't always greener, but maybe it was just greener at Mizzou. If your OC is hyping you up as a walk-on, and you talk about having quarterback depth, and I think the mid-2010 Ohio State Buckeyes kind of brainwashed us into thinking that there are a lot of good backup quarterbacks out there, considering all the quarterbacks that the Buckeyes produced back then. I don't want Brett Brown to see game action. It's nothing against him. It's just he's not an SEC quarterback. And if he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. But you want guys with experience. You want guys that are Power 5 level quarterbacks. And that's why you had to bring in Drew Pyne.
Yeah. I forgot he tried to transfer. Brett Brown definitely was a name buried off of my radar for Mizzou quarterbacks. But you know what? Yeah, good for him that he's making the most of his opportunities. Who knows what could happen? Like Kenny said with Ohio State,
he could be our Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, there you go. I don't think it'll be a JT Barrett or a Cardale Jones situation, but who knows? Other guys doing well at camp. I'll throw these 2 in, I guess, just at the same time on both sides of the ball. Drayden Norwood is apparently playing really well. And then we have a Brett Norfleet update too. Brett Norfleet is up to, I guess, 255 pounds. So he's growing. I likened it to, I wrote in my notes, I said, it's like Godzilla eating radiation to get stronger. He's coming into his new element. He's going to be absolutely unstoppable. No, I love Brett Norfleet, but quote tweet that. But yeah, he's apparently bigger than Drayden Norwood. I think that'll be good to have. Oh, beautiful. I think that'll be good to have for Mizzou going forward. You're watching live social media work on this show. This is the new element we get with the screen sharing. But yeah, thoughts on Norfleet and Drayden Norwood and what they could maybe come in to do next year. Peyton, you're muted, lad.
Sorry. You got to take everything. It was only a matter of time before that happened to me. It took a few shows, but we did it. You got to take everything coaches say with a little bit of a grain of salt, I'd say. But it is, you would, if the guy wasn't playing at least reasonably well, a coach wouldn't be pointing him out. So that's good news for Drayden Norwood, because corner, quite frankly, now that backup QB is solved, that's my biggest kind of fear on this roster. They did get Toriano Pride, but I mean, that's a lot of work. I mean, Ennis Rakestraw and Chris Abrams-Drain, I'd be hard pressed to find a corner tandem in school history that's better than that. It's big. They're big shoes to fill. I would still feel better a little bit with another guy coming in to the cornerback room, but that's encouraging. And obviously, the ceiling on Brett Norfleet is just so incredibly high. He wound up being a pretty good blocker by the end of the year, just with a smaller frame. I mean, he wasn't filled out all the way. So the fact that he's still bulking and apparently progressing as a receiver, that's also very encouraging to hear.
Yeah, he was a gazelle last year. He was just trying to get used to his body. He's still growing in his freshman season. Sophomore year, this is where he can put it all together. It can be that sophomore year surge for Brett Norfleet. It's practically spring training is what you kind of call these months for football coaches and football players. They're going to hype up who they want to hype up, and they're going to give flowers to the guys that they believe are having good springs. And we don't really know much about the characters of Kirby Moore and especially Corey Batoon, who's talking to the media for the first time here in the last 2 months. But look at someone like Eli Drinkwitz. I think he's very frank. He called an offensive lineman a project to the media, and that's in EJ Ndoma Ogar. So he's going to tell you how it is. Maybe Kirby Moore and Corey Batoon aren't that way. Maybe a little bit, reserved in that right. I thought Blake Baker was more open about a lot of this stuff as well. But it's still very good to hear that these guys are having good camps early on. Chris Abrams-Drain was also among that group of guys who came back and watched some practices for the Tigers after the combine. So that culture is still there, and seeing those guys come back, it's probably a good feeling for those cornerbacks too. Maybe talk it up and just hear how things went as they strive for the same goals and the same achievements that Cad and Ennis had.
Yeah, I think you both make good points. First of all, I laugh when you say it seems like Kirby Moore's been reserved. Every time I go to get a photo of Kirby Moore when I make the YouTube thumbnails, he always looks scared in all of his pressers, or at least in all the photos that are out of him. He just looks like nervous. I don't know, but he's a great OC, so do what you will. But I think Peyton, you also make a good point. I don't know, Peyton, you also make a good point. I think of corner is kind of the number one need at this point of the season. Where you're going to have to replace Ennis and Cad, and you're probably not going to do it fully. And hopefully Toriano Pride helps you a little bit. But yeah, if you can have someone like Drayden Norwood stepping up, I still think they should probably go out and maybe get another one in the portal, and just to kind of shore up that depth at corner. But we'll see. So yeah, exciting stuff. This is, like Kenny said, just the fun time where you just get like things leaking out of spring practice where it's like, oh, hearing good stuff about this random freshman or a guy like Drayden Norwood, and you can get excited about it, and over analyze it because you have nothing else to go off of right now. But we'll see. It'll be exciting to see that spring day game eventually too. But yeah, the overarching thing, I guess, for football updates is that Drew Pyne, Mizzou has its backup quarterback. So we'll see. Maybe make some pine jokes or something, pine tree jokes. Let's segue.
Riding the pine.
That was good.
Man.
See, this is why you guys are geniuses. Anyway, let's segue, as Kenny is putting up on the screen, to men's basketball. And Peyton and Kenny, the Tigers have done it. The Mizzou Tigers have done it. I guess Tigers is the wrong team to use here, given their opponent. they made history. They are defeated in SEC play for the first time since 2018-19 when Vanderbilt did it. They went winless. All of the, major college basketball accounts were tweeting about it. This actually made me kind of sad. It was just, and I guess this is just, the internet's full of haters, but it was CBK Report tweeted that, just a photo, and was like, Mizzou went winless, whatever. And all the replies were just dunking on Mizzou. It was everyone being like, couldn't happen to a better program, all this. That was like, dang, the sad Mizzou fans didn't even flood the replies. It's just people being haters. But, they have the right to be with what happened this regular season. 84-80. Any thoughts on the game, or just the fact that Mizzou is going to go winless should it not get a victory in the SEC tournament now?
Drew King had a very good thought in his post-game takeaways. There really is not just one. I would not care. There's not one player that if they transferred off of this team, I would go, oh, that sucks. I really don't care about one single player on this roster if they transfer. I just don't think, and that goes from Jesus Carolero Martin up to Tamar Bates. None of these players are vital to a winning team. None of them are good. I'm being quite frank. If any of them were that good, Missouri would have found a way to win one game in SEC play. That's just, if I'm Dennis Gates, there is no safe scholarship on this roster. Seriously. I mean, this is beyond pathetic. It's about as embarrassed as I've ever been to be a fan of one of my teams. I mean, you don't do this ever. It's happened twice in 50 years. It's really you have to be unbelievably terrible for something like this to happen. And I just don't think, I don't care about any of the freshmen. Great, Trent Pierce had his best game probably, and it still was a 7-point game where he grabbed 4 rebounds and had how many fouls? Is that 5?
5 fouled out.
Great. Yeah, the freshmen sucked this year. I mean, there's no way around it. Butler and Robinson flashed a little bit. Pierce, until this last game, hadn't done much of anything, but they were just largely really bad players. I mean, it was just Shawnee's puts up 20 points, but there's no real impressiveness behind it. He has to wind up just taking 20 million shots a game and dribble around for 35 of his 36 minutes. It's just the worst season I've ever watched from one of my teams. Quite frankly, I've never seen something this terrible. And I don't think you can. I think you're being very disingenuous if you look someone dead in the eye and say, I think Dennis Gates is a good coach. Because quite frankly, right now, I don't know how you can prove that. He just went 0-18 in conference play. I'm not going to say I think he's terrible and he should be fired, because year one did happen. But now we're back to square one. And quite frankly, I would treat next year as a completely blank slate.
One of the big stories when Dennis Gates took this job at Mizzou, when you looked at his resume from Cleveland State, is that everyone brought up that first season at Cleveland State. He had a bunch of guys transfer. He had to put a team together last minute, and he won Coach of the Year in the Horizon League. He made do with what he had, and of course, different league. You're going into the SEC now, one of the 2 best basketball conferences to date, and you expect things to be different. But it was like there was just no adapting to how the roster shook out. And he constructed the roster. It was completely all of his guys, minus maybe Caleb Brown, even though he brought him back. And those were just all of his guys, and he didn't really respond. He always pointed out, he pointed out a couple times, injuries have, bit us pretty hard this season, but there was just no coaching. Like Peyton said, there was just no changes from the staff. A lot of things maybe went down, losing Dickie Nutt in those last couple of games as he was in the hospital. But throughout the full season, there just wasn't many changes. For this LSU game, though, I did mention, this Matt McMahon teams, it's just, even when they're down, they're not really down. It's not even me just saying that because I've, covered a little bit of these games or just watched them, but it's like they always just somehow find a way back in. And it was a pretty strong finish of the season for LSU. But Mizzou had its largest halftime lead of the season in this game at 6 points in conference play. And it was just like a head scratcher going into it. Cause at halftime, it was probably the first time this season I felt like, okay, this game will be close at the end, it feels like to me, but it does feel like Mizzou has a chance. And if it felt like that on Twitter, and I think it was around like the 12-minute, 14-minute mark, LSU really just finally took over. And the game was just like, at the end, yeah, it was 80-84, but that game felt like LSU won by 10 points at the end. It was just a lot of, ticky-tacky, fouls at the end and, trying to get to the free throw line, trying to get the ball back. And LSU, I mean, they took full control. I think once Peyton started watching. So if you want to blame someone for this loss, I think you blame Peyton.
Peyton, do you have a response to that?
No. I mean, right when I started watching, they were up 7, and I think the 14-0 run or whatever it was started immediately. Like, the first play I saw was the Hunter Dean 3-ball that kicked the run off. But I don't know. That's just the way this team is, man. It took them 2 minutes to turn a 7-point lead into a 7-point deficit because they're just this team is just full of losers. I mean, there's no way around it. There's no winning players here.
Yeah. I think you both kind of summarized it the best. I don't know. It's very hard because I think, we've come to realize that, year one kind of diluted us from the underlying things that did not go well in the off season for Mizzou, with the acquisition of players in the transfer portal. I think maybe there were, I don't even know. I was going to say maybe too big of expectations on the freshmen, but I don't even think you can. I don't know how much you can even say that. They just underperformed whatever expectations you might have had. Because like Peyton said, they did stink. There is not a player on this team. You'd say Sean East, but obviously he's just done in general. So there's not a player on this team you'd be sad to lose. And yeah, it's hard. Like I want Dennis Gates to work out. I mean, from a player's coach perspective, he seems excellent, and everyone, you can't take away how Mizzou would fight in a lot of these games. Kind of like Kenny said, LSU seems to do this year. Like it finds its way in games, but yeah, never having a double-digit lead at halftime. I guess maybe that's a good thing because then that's not a lead you're blowing in the second half. But yeah, just I don't even really know what to say. I guess I'm just excited to get into the off season. Like we had, we were watching the Pepperdine game, and Javon Porter, who plays for Pepperdine, if you don't know that already, he's in the transfer portal, entered the transfer portal like at the buzzer when they lost in the West Coast Conference tournament. And we were already, kind of buzzing in a group chat of ours about, Javon Porter, another Porter, give him to Mizzou, average like 16-6 and or for Pepperdine last year as a sophomore. Like I guess I'm just excited for that time. But, the only way it's going to work is, as Peyton's been saying for months now, he has to get the guys he wants. He can't miss like he missed last offseason, because I think we've come to realize how drastic that ended up being. This isn't a
take him off the screen right now. Take him.
Kenny's pulling
Look at that. 29.7% from the field. This was a guy that Dennis Gates identified. This is why I don't have confidence in the direction this is going.
He might be one of the worst college basketball players I've ever watched. It's not even close.
My least favorite player I've ever watched.
And yeah, it is and that's where I'm like, again, and maybe this is delusional and we're just gonna have to see, but Dennis got too cute and he can't do that. And I'm hoping he realizes that and he just goes after, the obvious names. We're just gonna have to see. I'll go back to the stat I brought up a couple times. Mizzou did finish the regular season dead last in Ken Palm's luck rating at 362, right below Maryland, actually. So another Power 5 school not having good luck. Vanderbilt, the year they went winless in conference play, finished 346th out of 353 teams at that time in 2019. So there's the luck factor. They will play in the SEC tournament because they have everyone play in the SEC tournament. They're going to play Georgia on Wednesday, 7 p.m. That game is. I don't know. They're not going to win.
Yeah, I don't have any real interest in watching this.
Yeah.
Does anybody? I mean, it's a Wednesday.
If they do win, they will. Yeah, if they win, they'll play Florida. That's just, their path.
Yeah, great.
But yeah, just a miserable, as Kenny's showing. Yeah, there's the bottom four. You got Vandy, Arkansas, and then Mizzou, Georgia. Just a miserable season. You bring up a good prompt, Peyton. Yeah, I think this would have to go down for my personal favorite teams as the worst season I've probably ever watched, start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how 0-18 is just it's unbelievable. Like it really like I don't think we can fully grasp how
yeah,
ridiculous that mark is. Like that is just wall to wall. Like you can't do a thing right. And yes, there's a little bit of luck. Don't misconstrue that luck stat as saying Mizzou gets very unlucky. Like it's more of a way to measure like teams that are bad in close games. And boy, oh boy, was Mizzou not good in them this year. It's just we will never. I'll say this. I don't think they're going to go winless in SEC play for a very long time, if ever again, because it's just that hard to do. But my God, man, I don't know what to say anymore.
What did you say? Was it? Has it happened twice in 50 years? Is that what you said?
Yes, it was this and Vanderbilt, and then you have to go back to the 50s when Georgia Tech was in the SEC. That was the last winless team.
Wow. It's kind of crazy that it's happened twice now in the last like 5 years or like 5 or 6 years. And it's been that infrequent before. But yeah, just absurd levels of bad. And that's where we stand. We'll have one more game to recap. And then, yeah, we're in full off-season mode where we can just get excited about players in the portal. I mentioned Javon Porter. I would like Javon Porter, 16-6 at Pepperdine. He's like 6'11". I'd take it.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I'd point out, I did like Torvik, and I don't watch Pepperdine games, so maybe this is just the way they play. There's a lot that goes into it. But Torvik does keep track of rebounding rates, and his rebound rate is kind of just not fantastic. And I think that's something Mizzou obviously needs very badly, is someone that can just pull down some boards. But I mean, 6'11", man, just figure it out. I don't think Dennis Gates is going to mess around in the portal like last year. I don't think Dennis Gates is a full-on dummy. Like I really think there is he has to be like somewhere closer to that first year than this year. Like he can't. I think he knows what he needs to do in the portal this year. I think he is going to be much more aggressive.
I have three things to throw out there real quick.
Throw them out.
This Georgia Mizzou game, the SEC tournament, is how the pain and suffering started, and how the pain and suffering will end. We can maybe call it like a Georgia sandwich or a Mizzou loss sandwich with 2 pieces of Georgia bread. And one more thing about Jesus Carolero Martin. I've seen an uptick on Twitter posts, X posts about him, and a lot of negative stuff. Some guys, they come back. Do you think he's a guy that will ever come back for one of those alumni nights for Mizzou basketball?
Show him on the Jumbotron. People would boo. People would boo.
Yeah, I'm gonna err on the side of no. He will not probably.
I don't think he has very many ties. Yeah. I don't think he's built up that many relationships. The other thing we should point out too that it was out on Twitter. Kyle Smith-Peters, the Mizzou assistant, has been linked to a job away. He got linked to the Southern Illinois job, the Salukis, who fired their coach after they there was some controversy about why they fired their coach. Like a lot of people said he shouldn't have been fired. But anyway, that's a different discussion.
Their press release read like an extension. Their press release highlighted like the fact that he lost his 2 best players to the portal and then finished 3rd in the league's coach of the year voting. Like it sounded like they had given him an extension. And then it's like we wish him well in the future. Yeah, very weird.
Someone go get Southern Illinois' coach, I guess. But yeah, Kyle Smith-Peters could take that job. And that is another thing to watch for. That's just what Mizzou needs is, trying to rebuild from the ground up to have your assistants ripped away, or even one of them does not help, there. So it's bad. It sucks. I love basketball and I don't know. I just stopped having a team to root for. It felt like, by the late stages of the season, I just didn't want to watch the games. I wasn't around. I wasn't in front of a TV last night and I wasn't thinking about, I wish I was watching the Mizzou game right now. It was what it was. We'll see. Again, Georgia, 7 p.m., one more game in the SEC tournament. I am excited for the SEC tournament though in Nashville. It should be fun. But is it 6? Did I read that wrong?
8:30.
8:30. What am I saying? 7. 8:30. Even later. Ugh. That's a disgusting tip-off time. 8:30 Wednesday. Who do you guys think is going to win the SEC tournament? Tennessee?
Kentucky.
Kentucky? Kenny, you got a pick?
I want to be different. Let's go Auburn.
I'm going to be different also. I will go Florida. They go on a little run.
You
They did
2
just lose
days
to
ago you were
Vanderbilt.
just saying you didn't like Florida that much.
It's not that I don't like Florida. It's that I don't like how many people like Florida. They feel like one of those teams that's like, you know, everyone's like, oh, they're a 7 seed that I think will get to the second weekend. Like everyone says that, and then they'll lose in the first round and kind of disappoint all those people. I think I think that could happen to them. It shouldn't, because they are good, but you know what I mean? That happens in every NCAA tournament. There's that team
They
that
played
just
down
gets,
and
it
up
feels
to
like,
everybody. I
yeah,
mean,
they lost to Vanderbilt yesterday, so
yeah, they got their inexplicable loss out of the way, so that is true.
yeah, now they're trending down. Everyone's preying on their downfall. So we'll see. But Mizzou sucks. And with that, let's segue and we'll finish the show with quick hits. Okay, quick hits time. Peyton touched on it in our first segment, but because Kenny had a Sporkle quiz up, and now I'm understanding why. Kenny, explain this Sporkle quiz. And if you don't know what Sporkle is, look it up. It's a great quiz website.
Yeah, if you're on the YouTube, you can play along with us. I'm sure there'll be at least one team on here that will get some older fans yelling, and ones that
I
know
was
a
gonna
little
say,
bit more history, and they'll
this
be
feels
yelling.
like
It's
a
like,
yeah,
it's
there's gonna be
Nebraska,
people
it's
screaming,
Nebraska, and
yeah.
like we can't think of it. It'll happen, and I hope everyone that's watching on YouTube or at least listening can play along and just start naming off these teams. So our theme this week for Ken Sports Shorts on the Sporkle is Mizzou football's most common opponents, and it goes through the years too. And the last time that the Tigers played each team, there's 24 teams, and we have 6 minutes to do it. We'll go back and forth, so at least give me some time to write them out. So we'll start with Peyton, and then we'll go Peyton, Jack, and we'll just go out through the whole time. You don't have to go in order, of course. Just give me a team name, and so just let me know when you guys are ready.
This is interesting because I'm not seeing a year later than when they went to the SEC. So I wonder. That's what I wonder is how many, if any, SEC teams are on here.
Can you see when this was made?
That's what I was maybe wondering. Click
Check
more info.
more info.
Go back up.
Back up.
More info.
More info.
I clicked it. Takes me down here.
Oh, wait. Opponents.
Last updated
2019.
February 19th, 2019.
So that would have only been like 4 or 5 years in the SEC.
Yeah,
But
I guess.
I
Yeah.
think
So
there'd be an SEC team in there still.
yeah. Like Arkansas. All right. Well, we'll see. Let's go. Ready?
Ready?
Peyton? Yeah. You can start.
Okay. Kansas.
Nebraska.
Kansas State.
Oklahoma.
Iowa State. That's the third one, I bet.
Oh,
Oh, Iowa
got
State.
Colorado.
Texas Tech.
Oklahoma State. Oh, and Texas. Nice. Yeah, Oklahoma State, I feel like is maybe on there. Okay. Ooh, we're like getting them in order.
Well, because I mean it's conference.
Minnesota? No, probably not.
Definitely not. That'd be really.
Ooh.
Okay. Let's
Just
think
thinking,
of
like
what
regionally.
we got to
Try
think.
Arkansas.
Big 12 teams.
But like Arkansas doesn't feel like wow, that's
We got to think of more Big 12.
Big 12s, yeah. Baylor?
Yeah, Baylor.
What
There
Big
should be
12?
at least two more Big
Yeah.
12 teams, or
Big
three
12.
more. Oh no, two.
Oh,
A&M?
Illinois. Illinois is in there.
I'm trying to think of any other Big 10 schools. Already got Nebraska. Probably not
Definitely
Ohio
still
State.
missing
Indiana?
a Big
Maybe?
12.
No.
They
Probably not.
did
Oh,
have
Indiana,
a home and
okay.
home with them, yeah.
Missouri Rolla.
Bang, 11 times. Last time 1925. I had to throw it in there. I
Wow.
wanted to see if it was on there.
Oh yeah, Kenny, you should
2000
play too because this is your quiz. Yeah,
I'll
you
throw ones in
guesses
there whenever you guys are
Yeah.
having trouble.
Throw one in there.
We're
And
missing
we're
a
under
Big
timer,
12 team,
too.
and it's driving me nuts.
Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Colorado. Nebraska, Baylor.
See, like, there's
Texas
also like that.
Tech, Iowa State,
BYU is in the Big 12
BYU,
now. I doubt it.
Utah.
I doubt it. I can't think of
Yeah,
any.
maybe any West schools. Cal, Washington State, Washington, probably not. Oh, Cal. There we go.
California.
Shout out Dennis Gates and
I can't
Conzo.
think of one Cal Mizzou game.
Purdue.
TCU was kind of as Mizzou was
Oh
on
yeah,
the way out.
that's
so
who we
I
were
got-
thinking of.
No, it's not them. It's not them because they were in the Mountain West like pretty much until
What
Mizzou
Big
left.
12 team are we missing? We got to do
Maybe
more than
we
that,
got
though.
them all.
We got to think of some small. Missouri State.
No.
Okay. SEMO.
Um,
We can't even think at the same time. What are their big?
Like,
Missouri?
who did they play until 1939? Like, when was they played a team 34 times up
Who'd you say?
until 1939?
Missouri S&T? Is that on there?
I think that's Rolla.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I think they're the same. They're the same thing.
Fordham. It's Navy.
Oh, Army.
Army. Damn.
Crap. There's definitely people screaming at their television right now.
I don't know. Like, I don't
1996.
know if
When did they
anybody
last
like
play?
1948
Montana.
and 1939 are up there.
North Dakota State, maybe some of those schools.
No, I don't think it's a blood donor. Florida State,
Wisconsin.
Penn State.
Try Wisconsin. I feel like that's not right, but damn it.
You spelled it
Northwestern.
wrong. No. Well, maybe.
Pitt. Northwestern. Kind of old. Hey, there we go.
Hey.
2008.
Yeah, that was in the bowl game.
Oregon State.
Beavs.
Why did it say you spelled Oregon wrong? Just because it didn't capitalize. Oh, we only have a minute. We got 18 out of 24. I'm not super disappointed. Are we missing another major Big 12 team?
I don't think so. I think we would have
This
thought of
is
it by now.
tough.
Especially because look at the dates the last time they played these teams. Other than
Right,
96, I don't think I can think of any.
Yeah.
2001.
Colorado State. Air Force.
Like, who did they play? Oh, wait, no, we got that one. Never mind.
Denver University.
Denver doesn't even have a football team, I don't think.
I don't know.
We got to, think of ACC. I want to say it's an ACC team for whatever
I feel like
reason.
there's other like in-state Missouri schools that like.
Yeah, that are just
not thinking of.
garbage. Or like I guarantee the 39
What's the one
one
in
is going
Jeff
to be
City?
so stupid.
What's the one in Jeff City?
There isn't one in Jeff
Lincoln?
City, is there?
You
There's
think
no
Lincoln's
way.
on
They
there?
did not
know.
ever play Lincoln.
I don't know.
Lincoln
Columbia College.
that does not have a football team.
I know. Westminster.
Did we guess Tennessee? Did we try Tennessee?
Okay. No.
Central SMU.
Ooh, any MAC schools? Central. Oh, SMU. nice
SMU.
pick.
There we go.
Central Michigan. Central Arkansas, maybe. Arkansas
Try and
State.
think of some Southwest Conference schools. Like,
We're
but
about
we
to run out of
tried
time. We're about to
TCU.
run out of time. Michigan State. Bang. We got 4 more. I don't think we're gonna get it.
I did not know.
Let's see who
Michigan
they
State
are.
Michigan State
Oh,
so much.
we're pausing.
No,
Okay.
pause it. Give you
I
a
feel like
second
there's
to
some MAC
think.
I feel like there's some MAC teams in there,
Ohio.
like an
I
Ohio
so
or a
do not
Bowling
think
Green,
The MAC school is
Western
in there.
Kentucky. All right, we lost.
Ohio State.
Lost
Wow.
you! Oh no!
And
yeah, I
SLU,
think they
so it
did.
was
State.
2
Oh,
Missouri
SLU,
teams.
okay.
And Drake. Look at that garbage. Oh my God.
I feel like there's definitely people that were yelling, "Why didn't you put St. Louis in?"
We should have
That-
probably
that- that
guessed.
one gets
I
it.
thought of Ohio State because I remember Kenny had the trivia about Ohio State in the past, but I didn't think we
I also thought about
Maybe.
guessing them, but I was like, probably not. I think we did
Got
pretty
higher
good.
than the average.
Yeah, beat the average.
Wait, are you signed in? Can you look at the stats?
I don't have an account.
Damn. Would have been nice.
So that's me.
we still can look. Hey, we got Rolla.
We got
That
Rolla,
was,
the lowest one. Nice. Go watch on the YouTube. This is premium content for the
Mhm.
for the people. Kansas
Also,
must
just
guess.
loaded with ads. That's why I don't like this website.
It is very loaded with ads. All right, nice. Good Ken Sports Shorts, Kenny. Those are fun. I like the Sporkle quizzes. Let's do Dirty Birds. Kenny, what's your Dirty Bird, Kenny?
Dirty Bird is me. Guys, I'm gonna be completely honest. I put myself down as a Dirty Bird, and I have no idea
because you
why I
had
did.
something you wanted to say last week.
You
and
said
you forgot.
you said last week.
Thank you. That is actually true. I was on a podcast to
Christ.
talk about Astros prospects last week, and the host, Robert Lang, is a Mizzou grad, and he caught me off guard after an answer to a question. He immediately went, "Thanks for joining us today, Kenny MIZ." And I was like, "Whoa!" Like I was like not expecting this. I did that. I was like, "Whoa!" And I said MIZ back at him. And I was like, he cut it off there immediately. I was like, "I'm so sorry." And he was like, "No, it's fine." And then he went in, and I'll tell you a story he told me later that'll go with Peyton's joke of the week. But that's where I'm kind of the dirty bird. Here's some more photos of me in a Mizzou hat.
That's I know the concept.
This is my friend
Nash Walker.
Nash Walker.
Funny
friend of the
story about
show.
Nash.
I love
and
Nash
our
Walker.
show. I'm not gonna
No,
tell
we'll
you.
never know.
Go listen to Nash having the KCOU. It's still up.
There's Damon Kiesau. Oh my God.
Damon Kiesau.
Damon Kiesau.
Why does he show up with your
MLB
name?
prospects.
I'm friends with him on LinkedIn.
Oh, so am I. Brian
That's our
Hupp.
TikTok. Everyone go follow us on TikTok at Believe Unwritten. Haven't posted on there in a long time.
months.
All right, we'll move on.
People are letting us know.
Yes, yeah.
For my dirty
building.
bird, I went with Morehead State, the Eagles. They were the first ticket punch, the OVC. They always get the jump on all the others. The Morehead State Eagles, they're dancing, folks. 69-55, they took out the number 1 seeded Little Rock Trojans. Little Rock was looking for its first bid since 2016 when Chris Beard was the coach. Morehead goes back after losing. Did you know some of the players Morehead State had like the last time they went?
We were at the game.
Yeah, they had Janai Broom. They had Talon Cooper. Like they were stacked
What?
the last time they went. Yeah, they had
That's wild. I
Talon
didn't know that.
Cooper and Janai Broom. So
Why are they
Morehead
at Dirty
State
Bird
are going
40?
back
Is
because
it because of their name?
They're the Eagles.
But they're not. It's not Dirty Bird. They won.
Yeah, they're the Dirty Birds for
Mm-hmm.
upending Little Rock.
Because of their team name.
I think it's because their.
I don't
team.
know
I think it's because their
if-
cool name.
Yes,
we
please.
don't even. Were your dogs barking? Is that what you just?
No, Peyton, you're
Yes, please.
Peyton, go listen to this back and you'll understand.
No, I get what you're saying. I just think it's a bad joke.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Moving on.
I do hear a dog.
Yeah, it's
There's a
a
dog back there.
dumb dog.
Congrats to the Eagles. We'll have more. Yeah, Longwood also punched their ticket, so a lot of fun names in the NCAA tournament. My dirty bird of the week. I'm going to the NFL. It's Jamal Adams. He was released by the Seahawks, of course, a bird team, making him the dirty bird, along with Quandre Diggs and Will Dissly. Not too happy about the other two. I liked Quandre Diggs and Will Dissly, but my favorite team is the Seahawks, and I hate Jamal Adams. He's just kind of a jackass, and he's always hurt, and he sucked. So good riddance, I guess. I don't know. I was kind of happy when I saw this. Feels a little bit mean, but he never played anyway, and when he did, I don't know. He wasn't very good. I don't know what you guys think of Jamal Adams, but I'm kind of glad he's off my team, to be honest.
Hashtag Prez. I just find it funny that he really thought people were gonna actually think him going after a reporter's wife was cool, and everyone unanimously went, "Oh, what the hell? You're a weirdo." So yeah, happy trails, Jamal Adams. Let's hope that we don't see much of you anymore.
I don't like that
Oxford comma after Adams. Yeah, it's really bad for
Disgusting.
watching on the YouTube.
Absolutely disgusting. Somewhere
It's a
Pete
good
Bland is
comma.
frowning.
Gross.
Any Jamal Adams thoughts, Kenny?
I never really liked him. I thought his whole bit about trying to get into the Jets facility in that commercial one time was pretty funny.
They must
after
have
that-
cut me.
They must have cut me. Now they
Yeah.
did cut him. Haha. Yeah, we'll see.
He's like
Seahawks are gonna-
posting like he's counting down the days until like the first game of the season, and he wants to contribute to a Super Bowl. I don't know. All right.
He wouldn't be doing that in Seattle either.
Texans need some insurance for Jimmy Ward.
State. There you go. All right. What's next?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Kenny, what time is it, Kenny? What time is it, Kenny? What are you hearing, Kenny? What time is it, Kenny?
Somebody just call this Jack o'clock because it's about a bunch of frauds.
Right.
Coming in at number 5. Don't go break in, my fraud. I couldn't if I fraud. But honey, if I get Jack Knowlton, I might just be a fraud. Because the Milwaukee Brewers fans are like the only delusional fan base, we're not going to talk about the Yankees, that are choosing their team to win the World Series based on this geotagging from X on this post. The Brewers in the state of Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin is the only team taking the Brewers to win the World Series. Jack, you are being lumped into the fraud rankings this week.
Listen, guys, listen. Rice Hoskins, home run leader next year.
Reese.
There's no aura in that dugout. Moving
Lots
on
of
to
aura.
our number 4 fraud. I'm taking aim at the NIT. This Rocco Miller on Twitter, Rocco Miller 8, he pointed out a big thing. Pretty brutal that High Point won't be in the NIT. Have a deep dislike for the new NIT. Why won't High Point be in the NIT? Because the NIT decided to fix a thing that was not broken. The NIT, they announced their changes to the tournament format and the selection process before the season. The NIT is only taking the 2 highest teams in all of the high major conferences. That's the Power 6, like the Power 5 in football, plus the Big East. They're taking the top 2 in net. They're going in, and then they're taking the highest 20 of their choosing. So there's no more mid-major auto bids, and that sucks. One team, put them in. The NIT appeals to sickos that like so much college basketball. No casual fans are watching this. It's pointless, stupid. NIT is a fraud.
Fraud. Good job, Peyton.
Yep.
I'm 2 days into Fraudville, and I'm a Duke Blue Devils fan. Yeah, Duke getting swept by North Carolina in their season series. North Carolina's players going up to the Camden Crazies and waving them goodbye, letting them know they're all frauds. North Carolina wins 84-79. The 7th-ranked Tar Heels are going into the ACC tournament with a great jingle.
Kenny is not Jared McCain.
Hey, man, coming in, we're going to stick in the college basketball realm, but we're going to switch over to the women's SEC tournament. The Tennessee Lady Volunteers, folks, the worst final 3.7. They had South Carolina on the road. They had South Carolina on the ropes for their first loss of the season. They were up at the free throw line with a chance to make it a 4-point game.
Wait, I'll play it again. There we go.
They had a chance to make it a 4-point game with 3.7 seconds. They missed both free throws. They decide to foul South Carolina with 2 fouls to give. Not the worst decision in the world, but not one I would have made. So South Carolina gets to draw up a play, and instead of using their other foul to give while South Carolina is 1.1, they let Mrs. Cardoso, I forgot her first name, Camilla Cardoso. That's probably not how you say it either. But it is Camilla. Okay, Camilla Cardoso. They allowed her to just step back unguarded. Instead of fouling anyone, she launched her first ever career 3-point make at the buzzer. South Carolina wins by 1. The worst 3.7 seconds I've ever seen. Tennessee Lady Volunteers. Tennessee Lady Fraud in tears.
Longest fraud segment ever concludes with everyone's America's least favorite team. Sing with me, gentlemen. You put your right fraud in, you take some offense out, you put your right fraud in, and you lose by 30 points. You do the Jayhawk jig, and you are the frauds of the week. That's what it's all about. The Jayhawks get dogged by the Houston Cougars. Kenny, well done to your hometown Cougs. That's not what it is. Yeah, go Cougs. They're going to get a 1 seed. Kansas, I do not like you in March, and I do not like you in general. Hunter Dickinson, you are a fraud loser.
I think we got to give a spotlight Houston. I mean, that is unprecedented to come from not a high major. An AAC team just comes in and dog walks the best tournament or the best conference in college basketball in year 1. They won it outright. That is really impressive. So good for the Good for the Cougs.
Kelvin Sampson is awesome. I love Kelvin Sampson. Also, bonus
Great
if we're
book.
talking leagues, the Pac-12 is a bonus fraud because they Arizona lost. That league stinks. It's only gonna have one tournament bid or two tournament bids. What are we finishing with? The joke?
This one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Guys,
I thought this was like an article. Kenny just has the Today Show homepage up. I didn't think,
when
I was
does
like, is this something about the Oscars? What do we?
when does Friday come before Thursday? No, this is not a horse-related joke. I can see you pondering there, Kenny. It's not horse-related.
I don't know. When does it come before?
In the dictionary,
What is
Kenny,
it
what's
typing?
what else we got? I know you had some stuff to.
Well, I mentioned I went on that Astros podcast. Robert was a Mizzou grad, and when he was working at Mizzou, he let me know, or he was working alongside Savannah Guthrie, and he had a photo of them at a bar in Columbia, and it was just a really cool thing to see because she worked in Como News, and I had no idea. Now she's on the Today Show. So what a rise for Savannah Guthrie.
I mean, Mizzou
Colton
just
also didn't know
leads
that, by the way.
journalists. Yes, I did.
You didn't know who she
Yep.
was.
It's a fact. That's wrong. It's wrong. Good joke. I thought Kenny. I was so thrown when you put the Oscars thing up. I was like, oh, we're gonna talk about. Are we talking about the Oscars? Who's gonna? Has it happened?
Tonight.
Jordan Wilmore.
Peyton is. Oh, former Missouri
my God.
Tiger Jordan Wilmore
He's
is playing for Austin Peay.
Oh, he's a big fella still. There he is.
All right, let's end this. Let's end this train wreck of quick hits. With that, yeah, we're gonna have. Let's see. Yeah, we'll recap the Georgia game for Friday because Mizzou will have been eliminated by then, or maybe they're playing Alabama for a chance to go to the semifinals. Just kidding. Yeah, it's gonna be terrible. But until then, everyone have a fun and safe week. We'll see you guys on Friday. Thank you to Bet Online for being the gracious sponsors of this great program. Everyone take care. Don't watch Mizzou. Goodbye.